Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to the video, and today we are here for another severe weather breakdown. Now we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We got a lot of tropical activity, we got a massive heat dome, and we've even got some severe storm potential. So let's go ahead and break it all down, starting off with the SPC outlook for today, where we do have a slight risk of severe weather here over portions of the western Ohio Valley, okay? So this is going to include southeastern Illinois, southwestern Indiana, as well as north central Kentucky, so look out in those regions. Let's go ahead and break down the threats that this is going to bring. Starting off with the tornado threat for today, we do have a 2% risk of a tornado here in this region. This extends all the way from Evansville up to Louisville and then kind of all around that region as well. 2.7 million people are under a 2% risk of a tornado today. So in this region, definitely be looking out for a brief spin up all the way from south central Illinois back over to central Kentucky. Now moving on to the damaging wind threat for today, we have a 15% risk to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher here. So definitely look out for that. That once again includes Evansville and Louisville, so look out for that. Hail threat for today, we also have a 15% risk to see hail of 1 inch or larger, but in a bit smaller of a region, but it once again includes Evansville and Louisville, so look out over there. Moving on to tomorrow here, we do not have any marginal risks of severe weather as of right now, but if we were to get one, I'd say it would probably be one down here in Florida, as we are going to see lots of thunderstorm activity, and we could see some severe storms potentially. So let's go ahead and move on to Friday here, where we already have a marginal risk of severe weather here in the upper western Midwest. This is going to be a new line of storms that is going to form and head southeastwards, so we really need to be watching this thing, okay? This is going to be our next big fall storm. So moving on to the National Hurricane Center here, we have Tropical Storm Philip, which we're going to break down more later. And then we have this disturbance that has a 90% chance to form the next 7 days and a 90% chance to form the next 48 hours. This is almost certainly going to form at some point by the end of the day, and if not, it is definitely going to tomorrow. And we need to be watching this thing because we don't really know what it's going to do, and it could head for the United States as of right now, but it also could impact portions of the Antilles, maybe Central America. We don't really know yet. So let's go and move on to the Eastern Pacific here, where we do have a disturbance that has a 30% chance to form the next 7 days and a 30% chance to form the next 48 hours, but this will not head for Hawaii, so we are good to go. Now moving on to the track for Tropical Storm Philip here. As of right now, it is a 50-mile-per-hour storm here. It is going to continue to head westwards and make impact on portions of the Lesser Antilles here, and a more direct impact at this point. So, at around 7 p.m. on the 29th, which I believe is a Friday, or is that Saturday? I'm not too sure. That would be Friday. So Friday the 29th at around 7 p.m. It's going to be a 40-mile-per-hour storm here and could impact portions of these islands in the Lesser Antilles. Will continue to head westwards, impact a lot more of these islands, and then eventually most likely make a direct impact on Puerto Rico as a 35-mile-per-hour storm and then end its lifetime. So we do have a tropical storm here that is almost certainly going to make landfall at some point this weekend. So we need to be watching in this entire region for some flooding rains, some strong to severe storms, maybe even some storm surge, maybe a tornado or two, who knows. Now moving on to the Climate Prediction Center here, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, that's October 3rd to October 7th. We have our massive heat dome sitting here now in the eastern Midwest, as well as portions of the Northeast and the New England states. If you're in the darkest color of red there, that's an 80 to 90% chance to see above average temperatures, okay? This thing is huge and it's been out here forever. We just can't seem to get those fall temperatures yet here in the eastern U.S. for some reason. Now over here in the Northwest, for specifically like areas of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, you're going to have a 50 to 60% chance to see below average temperatures from the 3rd to the 7th here, okay? So it's going to be chillier in the western U.S. and warmer in the eastern U.S., as it has been for quite a while now. Now, 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here is even more interesting in my opinion, because we have a large area of below average precipitation likely to go along with our massive heat wave, which is going to cause some drought conditions up here, especially for areas like the New England states, where you have a 50 to 60% chance to see below average precipitation from the 3rd to the 7th. So we need to be looking out in this region, okay? It's going to get very dry, very hot, very icky all around. And then we have above average precipitation expected here for much of the Central Plains, also going into the eastern, or the western Midwest here, the upper western Midwest. And then also one sitting up here in the Northwest for portions of Idaho, Northeast, Washington, and then Northwest Montana. So in the darkest colors of green, that's a 50 50 to 60% chance to see above average precipitation. And what I think is really interesting is how thin the line is here that divides these two domes, okay? So areas like Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, you might see about normal precipitation, but even just go like 100 miles eastward, it's going to be very dry, and 100 miles westward, it's going to be very wet. So I just thought that was something interesting to point out there, that we do have a very thin line in between the above average precipitation and the below average precipitation. Anyway, moving on to the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here. That is October 5th to the 11th. Our heat dome is now officially entirely moved into the northeast New England, Ohio Valley region over here. In the pink color there, that's a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures, so still very likely. And then this still expands all the way over into the central U.S. as well, and even into portions of the western U.S. But then, for the very western U.S., we're going to have below average temperatures likely once again. If you are in the darkest color of blue, either down here in the desert southwest or into the northwest, then that's going to be a 40 to 50% chance to see below average temperatures. Now, 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, we are still going to see drought conditions most likely here in the northeast, okay? So like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, those areas are going to be very dry, very hot, very nasty for at least 2 more weeks, and we could see some droughts starting to form. Above average precipitation will be likely here, all the way down from Texas, all the way back up here into the northwest. If you're in that darkest color of green, that's a 40 to 50% chance to see above average precipitation, which a lot of people are going to be in for this here. So look out for that. Very wet in those regions. Finally, watches, warnings, and advisories here. We do have a stray severe thunderstorm warning here in Tennessee. Right now, it is there, but it will expire by the time this video goes up, almost certainly. Frost advisories in effect for portions of the northeast there. And then we also have a severe thunderstorm warning down here in Texas that just isn't showing because it is a kind of a recent one, okay? But that's going to be down here in southwest Texas. Air quality alerts also scattered across Texas, so look out for that. Red flag warnings in effect for portions of Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming here. Across the coast, many coastal flood advisories and stuff ongoing, mainly because of the leftovers, or not the leftovers, but just because of Tropical Storm Ophelia, but it is completely gone. I shouldn't have said the leftovers because there's none of it left. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.